Happy New Year, and thanks for taking time to be here today and sticking around for a little bit of state of the program with our football team on where we are. And I look at over the last couple of weeks, really last few weeks from our last game, if you count back 50 to 55 days or so, our program and organization has made tremendous strides in the right direction. Very excited about it. Not only our high school signing class that we had, but just finished up with the portal window and what that looks like for our team and program going into 2026. You always, or I have always, forever, you take a step back at the end of a season or a phase, and you look at those experiences. And you learn and you grow from them as an organization and as a individual. And obviously was not the results that anyone wanted with the 25 season, but also I know behind the scenes and what we have done foundationally, we made a lot of progress, and that is going to continue to build to pay off in great ways moving into 26. So I'm confident in where we are, really excited about the staff that we have. I don't think we'll have any other staff movements. There's obviously some things going on with some guys with the NFL, and you navigate through that until kind of the conclusion of that. But I think we're about where we're going to be staff-wise. And as soon as I say that, I'll walk out and have a phone call that has changed that statement. But excited about what we've done. We've made some additions staff-wise, and I'll get to those in a minute after we talk about our class. But I think it's easy for us all, coaches and people that cover the program and fans, to only during this time just to look at the portal transfers. And I think we lose sight of the guys that decided to stay in the program. The foundation of how excited I am about those guys that chose to stay and now have another year with them to develop that group, watch them grow and elevate our program. But then also, in the last 2 weeks, our staff has been, me included, on the road high school recruiting, and that's still going to continue to be the foundation of our program. And we've got 16 of those guys. Of the class of 20 high school signees, 16 of them are with us right now going through workouts and started the semester academically, and we get to go through spring ball. So that'll be an advantage for them and for us. And then you add in the 32 or so portal additions we had, really close, and then a junior college guy. So 53 additions. I don't know what's going to be, quote unquote normal when you look at that in the years to come. I know my first year at UNLV, we had 55 new additions. The second year we had 50. Last year is obviously an outlier. The number, of walk-ons and scholarship, we had 83. We'll never touch that. Never is a strong word, but I certainly hope we don't ever have that number again. And then this year, the 53 guys that we're really excited about. So now the challenge and the opportunity for us to blend that group together. The days that I haven't been on the road have been in the weight room with the guys, watching workouts with Coach Rowe and his staff. So today was workout number 10 for them. And physically, we've made some big-time adjustments, moves in the right direction, and excited that what we're going to do here over the next 6 weeks before we start spring practice. And I know that we'll make really good progress. I think our first spring practice is in 38 or 39 days, so it'll be here on us quick. But how much work we can get done with our team and the development in that short window of time before the first Tuesday in March. So I can ask a number or answer a number of questions here. There are a couple of things I want to hit on before we go there. But you look at the current landscape of college football, just specifically football. I'm not talking about any of the other sports, because obviously dealing with, as you look at, we've got 105 free agents basically on our roster, and everybody wants to compare it to the NFL. It's not even close to that. in the NFL, you have trades. You go during the season and make trades and free agents, and a contract means something. And right now, the world that we're living in, it really doesn't. So we've got ultimately 105 free agents. So the retention of those guys, how important it is. I am thankful that we've got one portal window that we're working through. So you go back again, learning from your experiences. Last year, after spring practice, we signed an additional 46 guys in that second window. I'm so excited about, we know who our team is right now, and now we get to develop them all the way up until the first game, and then we go from there. But with the signees, not only the high school kids and then the portal transfers, I mean, it took our entire organization with alignment and focus and working together to transform the roster into what it is today. And then you look at not only the guys that are in the staff meeting every day, from recruiting to personnel, general manager, assistant coaches, and then all the moving parts, equipment room, academics, all those stuff. Then you go outside of that and you get 53 guys. Well, then you're talking about admissions, you talk about housing, you talk about compliance, football operations, sports medicine, all those people. I'm so thankful because we've got a great group here, and they made a task that really first group ever in the history of college football. This team is of people to be able to navigate through what they did. And, I thought they did an outstanding job, and very thankful for the onboarding process of what Purdue did, and certainly all the people that it took, the alignment to get those guys on campus, enrolled in class, and get started. So I'll go ahead and kind of go into our staff, some of our additions and some changes, and then we can go back to the players and the signees. But in our scouting and personnel department, we've talked. You guys know about Brandon Lee, who's been the general manager, continues in that role, very active in what he's doing in that role. We have made a hire, and you guys have spoken with Butler Benton, who is overseeing personnel, has just done a great job in that area on evaluation, on being strategic in that, and then working with Brad Odom in recruiting on how all three of those really combine and work together. And then two additions in the scouting and personnel department, in Pete Mayberry and Xavier Goldsmith. They joined us towards the end of this cycle, but can already tell in really 2 weeks' time how beneficial they are going to be, and the alignment of those guys working together on making our program better. And then Director of Equipment Operations, we had a new hire with an opening there. Eric Jackson joins us. He was at Southern Cal as their Director of Equipment Operations the last couple of years, and we were fortunate to get him. On the defensive side, in a senior defensive assistant role, hired a guy named Dave Steckel. I've known and worked with Coach for a number of years. He was a coordinator at a number of places that he's coached, but a coordinator at University of Missouri, then was a head coach at Missouri State, and then the last couple of years has been working on the media side and game day announcing, and I think he was getting a little bit bored. So it's good for Steck to be back, and he'll provide a lot of insight on the defensive side, and really program-wise, he's got a lot of experience. Offensively, had another change with one of our assistant position coaches, and we gained C.J. Cole, who was a player at West Virginia, and then most recently an assistant at Rice. And he played for Coach Marshall, who's now our receivers coach. So there's a good connection there. And then on the defensive side, we hired Kevin Kane to coach the linebackers and the defensive coordinator. Really excited about that hire. I've known Kevin. I recruited when he was coming out of high school at Rockhurst High School in Kansas City, and then he went and had a great career at the University of Kansas, and then coaching everywhere he's been, Northern Illinois, Wisconsin, SMU. We always found our paths that crossed, either in recruiting or we clinicked together, and had a lot of respect for the job that he's done, the type of person and man that he is that will lead that side of the ball. And I know he had an experience here for a couple years, and I know that there will be questions about that, and I feel really, really strongly about getting Coach hired, and it wasn't easy to get done. Went through a number of candidates, and he proved to be the right guy for the job right now, and on what he has done, what he's going to bring to us. And I'm excited to work hand in hand with him on the defensive side, and I know he'll do a great job for us. Charles Clark will have our defensive backs, who's also, as an additional title added to his name, and pass game coordinator. He's done a great job, in developing the talent that we have. He's always providing great schematic ideas, and we'll have even more to do with our defense in a lot of roles, and got a lot of respect for what he's done. And then Coach Trump, the defensive end, outside linebackers coach, and Coach Green return up front at defensive tackles. On the offensive side, Coach Henson returns as the offensive coordinator, along with Darren Henshaw at quarterbacks. We moved a little bit of staff movement around. As you guys know, Cornell Ford is now coaching our running backs, and then Bilal Marshall is coaching our receivers. Coach was here last year. We know that, played here. Will do a great job on elevating both the running back position and the wide receiver position. And then David Spurlock was on our staff last year, and he's going to be more active in coaching the tight ends, and he'll give Coach Henson a little bit more freedom on some things, oversight. And Coach Spur played at Florida State, so had a good career so far in coaching, and excited about what he's going to continue to do. And then offensive line coach Zach Crabtree that we were able to hire. He was at Fresno last year. Previous to that, he was with Coach Henson at USC. They've got a great background together, and it's been fun to watch them work together with the offensive line through this process. So, again, we'll hit it with 7 weeks of training, and just finished our second week this morning, and then with spring practice beginning on March the 3rd. That was a long opening statement. Somebody should have stopped me, but I know that we'll get into some more details with questions. I'm a forward-thinking person just by, I guess, nature and upbringing. I'm so excited about what we are building, what this organization and all the moving parts have done. And then I walk out of the weight room this morning with our two different lifting groups, and physically we've already made huge strides, which I'm excited about. And 26 is going to be a fun year for everybody that follows our program.
Barry, what was different about, or was there anything different about your guys' approach to the portal this year compared to last year?
Yeah, a little bit. We were trying to be a little more select and direct with guys that had multiple years. Not just, and I'm okay with one and done guys, so to speak, but there's great value if you have a chance. Now, we're going to have to retain them, but there's great value, in my opinion, on getting a guy in a program that's got multiple years left. And I think we've got 11 or 12 that of the 32 that are seniors by classification, but everybody else is an underclassman. So, again, we get I believe in being able to identify talent, get them in your program, build them up, develop, train, and then hopefully you get a chance to have them more than one season, because continuity with your coaching staff, with all the different department heads, and then you get a guy in a program, the standard and the expectation, they start running the show on what a Friday lift looks like, and because they become Purdue. And that was another thing that we looked heavy and really was important to us. We wanted guys that wanted to be here. And, that sometimes you say that out loud and it's a little bit head scratching to some people. I want to do things the Purdue way. And we didn't hit that in a lot of areas last year. But we're moving every day a little bit closer to getting that done.
Barry, some of us talked to Mike Wabinski a few weeks ago, and he said that you held back a significant amount of your rev share last year. How much did that help build this roster to what you wanted this year, just having those additional resources?
Yeah, I've said it over and over and over, and I don't know really what the response to what my comments are on that, but we've had, I look at what Purdue has provided us, and through this ever-changing landscape of what it looks like, they have provided us a very aggressive opportunity and rev share to pursue players to come here to win. And you look at how you budget that. Brandon Lee and his team on looking at that by position, by individual, what we have left, projection, I thought did as good as anybody that could possibly do to quote unquote save some money in some spots to be able to add to what we needed this year to build a winning team. And a lot of credit to him and Mike and Tiffany and Tanner Ball and the people that really look at that and study it every single day to build what we think in every area, try to give us an advantage. And sometimes if you're not in the weeds, so to speak, with that every day, it's hard to get a full understanding on what it looks like. And then you start building, single and multi-year contracts and all the different things on strategically how to do that. Not only hours and days and weeks and months have been spent by Brandon on trying to put it together to help us build the most competitive roster we can in that department. Okay, and then I want to move that area, that department over to the side once we get a guy on campus and get started with him working out. Okay, and it's a big part of obviously what we're doing in recruiting. But then, man, how can we, if we feel like we identify with Butler and his crew, that this guy's good enough to win in the Big Ten, okay, and then it moves to the area of in the recruiting and evaluation. Then we get a guy on campus. Now it's our job to get them ready to go play at a high level. But I think on all the different aspects. There's not been one time that Brandon's walked in and said, we can't get this guy only because it comes down to dollars and cents.
Coach, how instrumental have the returners been getting the newcomers up to speed, and how have you seen those two squads, those two groups kind of gel together?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. And, I think with 83 new players last year, we missed the mark on some of it. There's no textbook to say, hey, open to page 10, to blend those things together. So you got to be very, very deliberate about it, which we are. You've got to be making sure that number one, those things are communicated with your returners. Number two, communicated through the recruiting process of, I don't care where you're from. I mean, I do care where you're from, but at this point, once you step on campus, we're all representing Purdue, and it's all us together. So, again, it's early. We're 10 days, or really 2 weeks in, 10 workout days. When I was in the weight room this morning, the spirit, the encouraging, the enthusiasm, the really true care for your teammate when they got an extra set on the lift. Even when it was somebody that maybe is coming here and playing your same position, it felt real and it felt authentic. And those things can't be staged. They can't, it's not in a situation where you tell a guy that this is what we're going to go do and automatically go do it. You got to be deliberate about it. You got to be open. You got to be honest, and you got to be attacking, because now that we've got the group here, we got to become a close group. And that in today's world is one of the biggest challenges, in my opinion.
Barry, how come you decided to stick with Ryan Brown and not pursue another quarterback out of the portal?
Yeah, I think that, the things that I've seen out of Ryan early in going back through fall camp, right, so he got here back again, first time we really saw him was in June. And then those are limited June and July. Let me go back, Tom. Number one, I want it said from as high of a mountaintop as I can be on, I believe in Ryan Brown. And so then I'll go when we got him in June. The development, the things that I saw him do, arm talent, the ability to make throws, his football IQ, he can win in this conference. I believe that. Okay, we start the season, and there are a number of things that when you really go deep dive, okay, the quarterback gets way too much praise and way too much blame, always. There were times when there were things that looked like it was either a bad throw or bad decision or interception, and it's all on the quarterback. Well, that's not always the case. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the receiver quits on the route, okay, which we had. Sometimes there's a tip ball and it leads to an interception. Sometimes we don't protect the right way up front. Sometimes the back misses a block on slide protection. So all of those things, when you're a quarterback, I've never played the position. I was 1-for-1 passing in college, though, first down, fake punt. All those things you look at, I don't put everything on the quarterback. So I believe in what I've seen with Ryan Brown. I'm going to go back further in my history. I had a quarterback at the University of Missouri named Drew Lock. Okay, Drew is playing for the Seahawks, and I hope he goes and wins the Super Bowl. But I look at, and I hate doing comparisons, but I'm going to in this situation because I believe what I've seen. There are similar arm talent and traits between Drew and Ryan. Okay, so our challenge as an entire organization, yes, we've got to get Ryan Brown better in everything, in ball fakes, in eyes, in trusting, and all those things that a quarterback's got to develop, as that room does. But also, we need the 10 guys around him to play better. We've got to coach better, we've got to execute better, we've got to play better. But I believe Ryan Brown will lead us to winning in the Big Ten.
Just to follow up on that, the decision not to add another quarterback for competition's sake to strengthen the room overall, is that just a belief in who's there? Is it an economic reality?
Yeah, it's not an economic reality. I look at the health of the room and the team. Okay, we've got Ryan, we've got Bennett, who made great progress last year, and I think is continuing to make progress. Evans Chuba is as talented as anybody we've got on the roster, not only athletically, but a number of things he can do. So I'm looking forward to his development over this semester and through spring ball. Barry Odom made really good progress last year. We signed Barry, who is a mid-year graduate out of high school that we think's got a tremendous future. So we would, if I didn't think we had a quarterback in the room that could go win at this level, we certainly would have been as aggressive as we could possibly be to get one. But I believe in Ryan, and I believe in the room. And I also believe in Darren Henshaw and Josh Henson. I believe in Coach Rowe. And you know what? I'm betting on me, too.
As you said, you knew what the optics of bringing Kevin back as defensive coordinator were going to
Yeah.
be. Can you better articulate just what you've seen from him schematically that supersedes what fans saw here for 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what, I'm not going to talk about that exact experience because I wasn't here. But I know that, some of the things that Purdue did during those times, Kevin was not the coordinator. He was a coordinator by title. I've seen him work. We've worked together clinicking. He was a big piece also when we decided I was going to go with him. He was a big piece in some guys that had entered the portal and deciding to come back. And so he's got respect of a number of players. He's got the opportunity to surround himself with some good coaches. I think that his opportunity now, when it's truly his, I think he will be able to put his identity on it, his stamp on it, and I'm excited to see that. And I'm also excited about being hands-on defensively a little bit more than I was last year.
So it will be his defense that he's calling?
Yeah, he's the coordinator, he's calling it, yep. And he's going to do a heck of a job.
Barry, can you speak as to why Mike Shear left?
Yeah, I think there's a number of things, and Mike and I go way, way back, and I think there's opportunities for him to branch out a little bit and look at other opportunities for him to grow in the profession, in a good way, get away from me, so to speak, a little bit, we had conversations throughout the year about I was going to become more involved and wanted to, and felt like, the first year there's a number of things you got to do. But all those said, he's one of my closest friends. Love him to death like family, and I know he's going to go have great success. And he and I will always be connected.
Going back and looking at your history, and you talk about going back with Kevin, did you coach when he was playing high school football back in Missouri?
I think I missed him 1 year. Rockhurst, where he graduated high school, I played them, I think his freshman year at Kansas. So I played Rockhurst. I was a high school coach, and Rockhurst beat us in the state semifinals. So I missed him 1 year for there. But then I was at Mizzou when he was a player at Kansas, so we crossed over there. Respected the way he played, and he's got toughness about him. As a player, he carries that over. Linebackers will play well because of his background and pedigree. And then also, the things that he, I think, will adapt and change us schematically, along with the help of the room. He's going to put together a good defense.
And then when you look at the running backs you added through the portal, I think that's the position where you got multiple guys who have a lot of experience and have put up numbers. What do you like about that trio of those guys coming in?
Yeah, I think you look at production. That's what really the one of the initial things I didn't say on your question early was, more than anything, we were trying to find guys that had actually done it. On a Saturday afternoon, the production over maybe potential, and those three running backs I'm excited about. We saw the leading up to the Minnesota game, kind of what we thought out of that particular running back, and then you look at what the things the opportunities at Texas and then Jackson State. I think more than anything, there's some similarities in their running style, but also all three are a little bit different. And it's the word change of pace is thrown around a lot, but I think they can all bring great value to a room in an area that we certainly need it.
Out of the receivers you guys brought in, it looks like you have guys that kind of have different skill sets and can do a little bit different things. Can you just talk about the importance of that and kind of what you saw out of those guys and what they can?
Yeah, I think we needed to get a little taller and more length in that room, so we addressed that. We also, there's again, it goes to some production on those guys on what we feel like we're getting, how they fit into what we want to do offensively. The number one thing that I wanted to do was watch how they play when they don't have the ball in their hands, and that's important. And so them blocking, them running routes, full speed and like the way you're supposed to, which seems very elementary, but that's something we need. And we got some tough guys in that room that we've added and they're excited about. And I want a guy that 3rd and 12 and he'll go run a dig and go catch it and know he's about to get splattered and he's going to come up with the ball. So I'm excited about the additions we made in that area, and I know our offensive coaches are as well.
Barry, do you anticipate signing many guys, high school kids, in February? And could we see more portal guys maybe get added in dribs and drabs throughout the summer maybe?
I think we're going to sign at least one more high school guy in February, and then Tom, I think we're done. And again, it goes into roster size and kind of where we're at, but we're about limited out. And I sure hope that the group that we have on paper today, I hope that it's the same group reporting date. Last year I couldn't sit here and say that because I knew we had another portal window. So I can't tell you how excited I am to have this group together right now, and then we get 6 months to go develop them together, and that's a really good feeling for me.
Between making a change with the offensive line coach, making a change at running backs coach, bringing in the portal haul that you were just talking about at running back, it just seemed like there was a concerted effort to fix that part of the game based on, I guess, your analysis of last season. Is that a fair thing to say, and what went into that?
Yeah, that would be true. I think we're always, the making change is one of the things that is, the longer I'm in it, maybe the most difficult, because you affect so many lives when you do that, and that's hard. But there was a need in the couple of changes that we made for it to happen for a number of reasons. So we made the change, and ultimately it's my job to get the right pieces in the right spots to move our program forward, and that's how those decisions were made.
Just to get clarity, you talk about the roster being basically capped out. Is 105 a hard number that you have to have now?
Well, I may need to refer to Brandon on this, or Butler. There's guys that are tagged as designated student athletes for when the rule went in. So as long as you've got those guys that were tagged a year ago, then you can have a roster a little bit larger than 105, okay? And then whatever the date is, I don't know what it is, at some point in August this year, you've got to have a certified roster. And that's 105 plus your DSAs. So ours will, unless we have, a bunch of guys leave, will be stronger than 105 because of the DSAs that we still have on our roster from last year.
You talked about retention a couple times. How happy were you with how that kind of aspect played out for you guys?
Yeah, I was excited about who we were able to keep. They know what's going on here. They're excited about it. And, if they weren't, they'd have every opportunity in the world to leave. So really excited about the guys that decided to stay. And we were, the schedule was, last year you always, for me, going into midpoint of the season last year, you had to start having those conversations, and how awkward that is during the season. You're getting ready to go play Michigan, and you're sitting down talking about the retention, trying to keep them in the program. But also, we've got agents that are sending you lists every week about, hey, those lists are floating around. Hey, these are my guys that are going to be in the portal next year in the offseason. Well, one of them sent us a list of our guys that were on it, and I said, hey, pal, you sent me the wrong list. They're not sending me the list, but they're floating around, and so you've got to have those. You got to have those conversations. As weird and as crazy as that sounds, that's just part of the game now. And again, I said earlier, you got 105 free agents, and there's no rules.
Any more questions? Two more. We'll do Tom then Nathan.
Tom, go as many as you want. I could tell there was frustration there. I've got answers all day long, buddy.
We can't ignore what's going on in Bloomington. I mean, how's the IU success just impact what you're trying to do here, Barry?
I mean, I'm not publicly supposed to say things of the bitter rivals, and I feel that absolutely. But what they have done in 2 years, number one, much respect for Signetti and what he's done. And I texted him right after they won it and told him congratulations and hell of a job, because you cannot deny that. And the way that they've done it, very impressive. They were, not supposed to compare opponents, and I won't go there because we got to play them all again next year. But they were damn good in every single area and very, very well coached. So, it speaks volumes of the Big Ten Conference. Last 3 years now, 3 different teams win it. That's pretty damn good. And, that is the pursuit of what we're chasing. I'm saying to get in a position where in November you're playing meaningful games for bowl bids, for playoff contention. That's what we're chasing every single day in every decision that we make. Did you have something else with that, Tom? That was it.
Mike, in the past, had talked about the revenue share that was coming in as being kind of leveling the playing field. Just through this portal cycle, what's your experience relative to that? Do you feel like that is happening? Do you feel like there still is a separation?
Yeah, I would agree to that. It is leveling it. There are going to be some outliers until we get rules put in that are that you have to follow. But right now, when you look at a couple of outlier schools out there that they're playing with monopoly money, then it's a little bit different there. But I think overall landscape of college football, absolutely, it's equalized a lot of things, and I think we're moving in the right direction. Where it's not there yet as an entire organization of everybody that's playing the game.
Any other questions?
Go ahead. I miss you guys, most of you. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'll answer anything else we got.
I don't believe any of that. Talking to Mike last week, he says you'll get beyond 85 scholarships coming up here soon. As far as evening the playing field and helping you keep the program going, how important is that to have the additional scholarships up to whatever you want and however you're going to use them?
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, I'm going to go back and say it again and again. Mike has done absolutely everything that he can to build our program to go win. And that is just another case of it. Purdue didn't have to do that, but he got it done. And that's just going to continue to help our program. And already is paying dividends in this class because we were able to add a handful more guys that if it would have been last year at this time, we wouldn't have been able to do. So there's so many great things going on. Again, I feel a heck of a lot better today than I did last year on this day because of where the program is. I mean, the team meeting I walked in last year and the number of guys that we had to replace and all those things, I know exactly what I signed up for. So we're a lot healthier right now than we've ever been.
Anything else? Tim?
I thought you retired.
I did from the job that paid me.
Oh, okay.
But I stuck around for the other stuff.
I got you.
This is more a procedural question. Late, you lost a player that went to another school, a kicker. Do players have to go into the portal in order to transfer? And when we're talking about portal windows, if you've got if there's no portal in the fall, but what's to stop a player from disenrolling at one school and enrolling at another if there's no rule that way?
That's what I'm talking about, rules. They're that particular player, and I decided before I walked in I was going to talk about the players that we have on our team. Okay, but you asked a good question. They've all been good, by the way, but that one, he never entered the portal here. And, it's amazing how that works.
Anything else? All right, thanks everybody. Thank you, Coach.
Would that have changed something? I mean, if he had entered the portal, is it just a formality?
It's the rule.
Sure, but
But if there's rules and you don't abide by them, why do we have rules? But
All right, thanks everyone.
yes. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.